the London Festival of Architecture this year, we're delighted to be hosting our first photographic exhibition together with the international arts consultants. It's called The Architect's Eye, and it consists of the winners and finalists from the award with the same name, organised by international arts consultants, the Royal Photographic Society and the RIBA. To mark the launch of the exhibition, we have a great panel with us here today to discuss the relationship between architecture and photography.
When we first created the competition, I remember talking to Jack about it. He was waxing lyrical about the importance of photography in the training of an architect, and the fact that this was a module of the training process of an architect, and the use of imagery in the actual evolution of an idea or a design. So I suppose the question now, is that still hold good? Is photography still an important part of the curriculum for an architect, and is it still actively used in the creative process?
Photography is still absolutely a fundamental part of an architect's training, thinking, profession, sometimes on a very technical basis, sometimes on a very rough and ready basis, not necessarily taking beautiful photographs of things, but often reference photographs. So it's there all the time, it's part of the skill.
In your reaction to when you see the first independent photographs of one of your creations, is it usually of pleasure or of irritation?
The only worrying thing is if they can't make a good photograph of your building, maybe it's not a very good building. We finish when a building's life begins. I don't want to control it beyond the grave. I think the building should have its own life. So whether it's a photographer we've commissioned or someone else, they own the building as much as we do. And that's one of the most enjoyable things about architecture generally, is people take over the building and they give it its own life, and they see it as they see it, and their view is as valid as yours.
I'm very interested in Simon's very straightforward comment. If it's a bad photograph, we design a bad building. I'd love to try that on if a client didn't like the work. That defining image may be set by the architect, but I think nowadays it could also be editorial that may set the defining image, and the editor of an architectural magazine decides, no, this is the image.
The identity of a piece of work is often created by the photograph, because actually 99% of people don't actually get to see the real thing.
The process of going from 2D, from the original sketches for a building, into a three-dimensional model, and then into the building, and then back into 2D is very sensitive. That big shift when you're going from three-dimensional back into 2D into the photograph is full of emotion, it's full of everything, and that's really where the excitement is.
If the image itself usually defines what the public see as that building, there is a bit of a tension there. So while you don't want to control the photographer, you want to be confident that the photographer will do the kind of job that you hope will provide an image that you are happy for to be the legacy of that building.
That if somebody wanted to be shown round our work, potentially thinking of commissioning us for something else, they should be discouraged at all costs. Because it's a complete hostage to fortune what happens to them when you're showing them round. The client hasn't tidied up for weeks. There's a huge argument somewhere. Somebody's spilt coffee all over the carpet, or I don't know, somebody's sprayed graffiti. You just don't. You're out of control.
So your photographs are your buildings as far as future work is concerned. So I think it's the most, beyond your own kind of professional development and your own collaboration with consultants, it's the most important commission you make.
Can I just say how absolutely fantastic it is to be in a Zaha interior about 10 days after she got damed, which was absolutely brilliant.
Congratulations.
And I think brilliant of Roca to commission her to do this, and even cleverer of you to select this venue to coincide with her rising to the upper house.
I think that's a good point to end on. So thank you very much to our panellists, to Simon and Nick, and Jack and Grant. And thank you very much for Roca for having us in this wonderful building, and for our drinks and canapes and putting on the show. And thanks to everyone else who's involved. So I think we'll leave it there. Can we round of applause for everyone involved in this show?